If you are a nonprofit founder or long-term leader trying to figure out your exit, you probably have been warned about founder syndrome, that nagging fear that you've become an obstacle to the mission you built. I am here to tell you the sector has it backwards. Having built and successfully transitioned 2 organizations myself, I'm going to show you the hard data on why you are not the problem. The failure to build a transition plan is. Today, we're going to look at how to convert your founder power into founder wisdom. The phrase founder syndrome has been doing some real damage to leaders who deserve a completely different conversation. That term, founder syndrome, positions the founder as a liability, as if the organization would be fine if you just got out the way. But a Bridgespan Stanford Social Innovation Review study, one of the most rigorous looks at this question ever conducted, does not support that framing. Researchers pulled data from national samples, studied founder transitions from across the country, and surveyed more than 500 leaders and board members. The headline finding? Transitions that extended the founder's role in some capacity often produce the best outcomes, not clean breaks, the founder leaving all at once. 45% of founders stayed on in some capacity after stepping down as CEO, and 75%, the vast majority of those organizations where this happened, said that the benefits justified this action of the CEO staying in some capacity. And nearly half of the organizations where the founder did not stay, they said the transition would have gone better if the founder had played a role. That is not founder syndrome like some disease or problem. That's been the sector telling founders the wrong thing for a very long time. But us knowing that the data shifts the frame we've been thinking about founder syndrome does not actually tell us what to do with it. And that's where most plans fall apart. There is a distinction that almost no transition plan names. And it's the one that determines whether the handoff works or quietly unravels. When a founder is running the organization, we call on their power, their relationships, their vision, their credibility with funders, their ability to press the mission forward and articulate the vision. When a successor steps in, the job is not to eliminate that power. It is to convert it into something the organization can keep drawing from. Founder power becomes founder wisdom. And the question is whether the transition plan is designed to capture and leverage the founder wisdom, or whether that wisdom gets abandoned when the founder walks out. Now, I've seen this from the inside. I built a demonstration project from a single vision, multi-year funding, high-stakes partnerships, national scrutiny, and stayed with it for 10 years. The transition was planned. The wisdom that I had was engaged deliberately, and the organization is celebrating its 20th anniversary. Now, a second organization I founded, a community figure skating program for young girls and modeled after a national concept. I built the local version, found the successor as part of the process, and that organization is now 10 years old. And what I learned was the value of founder wisdom and the ability of transition planning to capture it. By the way, both of those organizations have asked me to come back and play a role in their milestone anniversary celebrations. Not because I held on, but because we intentionally planned for what came next. The failure to capture founder wisdom is not a founder problem. It's a governance issue. And if you're facing that issue right now in your organization and you're trying to figure out that decision, we need to talk. You'll find a way to do that with the link in the description. So, the research tells us that staying can work, but it only works under specific conditions, and founders and boards have really never mapped them out. The study that was done does not just say founders should stay. It identifies exactly when a continued role produces results and when it backfires. Condition number one, the founder has both the capability and genuine desire to stay engaged, not out of anxiety, but out of the desire to really contribute. Condition number two, the board perceives clear strategic value from the founder staying, not just tolerance or not just loyalty. Condition three, the founder is willing to play a different role and authentically wants the successor to succeed. And that word authentically really matters. Condition number four, the successor is willing to work alongside the founder, not behind them. And this shouldn't be taken as a given or to be assumed. It really has to be built into the process. And the research gives us clues also in terms of where founders added the most value in areas such as fundraising, acting as an ambassador, and mentoring the new executive. Now, in that list, notice what's missing: day-to-day operations. The conditions and the data tell you whether it can work and who and how to build it with. But there are specific practices that determine whether it actually does work. Many extended founder roles fail because the intention was wrong, but because no one built the structure to hold that relationship. So practice number one, stick to those specific lanes we talked about earlier, fundraising and the ambassador work and the mentoring, and keep completely out of day-to-day operations. Practice number two, engage a coach or consultant, not as a sign that anything is broken, but because the operational and emotional complexity of this transition moment deserves and needs professional navigation. Practice number three, anticipate conflict and agree on a resolution process before the conflict happens, not after, when it becomes personal. Practice four, transition your board, funder, and staff loyalty in a logical sequence over time, not all at once, but definitely not by accident. be intentional. Practice 5, create physical and structural separation. Move out of the office. Stop attending executive team meetings. Give the successor the actual room to lead. So, this isn't about clinging to the organization. It's about building the right architecture, structure, then stepping into the right role within it. All of this assumes one thing, and that is that the reason you're staying is the right reason. And that is the one question many plans skip entirely. Staying because your identity is fused with the organization is not loyalty. It's a structural risk the board will eventually have to manage around you. And staying because you believe the organization cannot survive without you, that belief is the one most likely to make it true. The right reason to stay is contribution, a clearly defined role, a genuine desire to see the successor succeed, and the life outside the organization that you're already building. That last part, now that's the one nobody talks about. What comes next for you personally? Most leaders in this sector have never seen that modeled or really talked about. So you may not be looking for retirement. You want to keep moving. You want to keep making an impact just differently. And you've never been handed a roadmap for that, for how to think about that, for how to do it. Now, this isn't a small problem, and it's not just a personal one. It's really the missing chapter in almost every succession conversation happening in this sector right now. So the question is not whether you are the problem as a founder. The data answered that. The question is whether your plan is built to retain your wisdom or lose it. Now you are probably wondering what that conversation looks like when a leader actually figures it out for themselves. What comes next? Click the video on the screen and I'll show you exactly how that conversation starts.